Hi everyone. Today we will see Cambridge IGCSE Physics Paper 1 Multiple Choice Core Variant 1. Here the first question is a student measures volume of quantity of water. What is the apparatus used? Which apparatus is suitable? As it is water, it is not having any specific shape. We need a measuring cylinder. So we can pour the water and measure the volume. So here the answer is B, measuring cylinder. Next, the diagram shows distance time graph for four objects. Which graph represents the object moving in increasing speed? So the graph A, that is distance time graph, we can see the straight line here. This means as the time increases, the distance is not increasing. That means the object is stationary. So here the gradient of this line is numerically equal to speed. And here we can see as time increases, the distance is increasing linearly. That means it is traveling in a constant speed. Next, here we can see the gradient, it is not increasing. The question is, which graph represent an object moving with a increasing speed? So starting there is an increase, but after some point, the speed is not increasing. The gradient is not increasing here. But this graph, it is accelerating. That means the speed is increasing. So the right choice is D. The gravitational field strength on the moon is smaller than that on the earth. So G is small in moon. A scientist examines a rock which has been brought back from the moon. He measures three quantities. He measures the density, mass, and weight. Which quantity are the same on the surface of the earth and surface of the moon? Actual density means it is mass by volume. Mass means it is a measure of amount of matter and it doesn't depend on gravity. This density and mass, these two factors, they are independent of gravity. Doesn't depends on the gravity. And weight, that is a measure of gravitational force acting on the object. So it is depending on gravity. It is a dependent factor. So 1 and 2 will remain same on moon and earth as it is independent of gravity. So the right answer is A. Which substance in the table has lowest density? Before we are told density means it is mass by volume. So lowest density, density should be minimum means mass should be minimum and volume should be maximum. So we need to find the choice where mass is minimum and volume is maximum. So out of this is 1 and this is 2. So these two volume is more. And comparing the mass, which is less, 1.8 is less. So this is less. So the right choice is olive oil C. 100 centimeter beam balance is shown. We can see the pivot here. The pivot is moved 10 centimeter to the left. So it has been moved 10 centimeter to left. What will be the effect of this change on the anti-clockwise and clockwise moments about the pivot? Here, moment means force into perpendicular distance. So suppose the force is increasing or the distance is increasing, moment will increase. Here the pivot has been moved to left side. So the distance this side has decreased and distance this side has increased. That means this is clockwise moment and this is anti-clockwise moments. So clockwise moments has increased and anti-clockwise moment has decreased. So here the right choice is clockwise moment has decreased. So these two it is decrease and anti-clockwise moment has increased. So the right choice is B. A spacecraft is traveling in space with no resultant force, no resultant moment. Which statement about the spacecraft is correct? Suppose the spacecraft is moving with no resultant force means the overall force acting on it is zero. That means it is in equilibrium position. The horizontal force, vertical force, everything will balance each other and we can tell the spacecraft is in equilibrium. The graph shows the total energy transfer by an electric motor over a period of time. In which region of the graph is the greatest power is being developed by the motor? Here, initially it is power is increasing. Here we can see it keeps on increasing and it is delivering maximum power. After C, it start decreasing. The energy is getting decreased and in D, with respect to time, the energy is not increasing. It is a constant factor. Here it start decreasing. So the maximum power is been energy is been transferred during B. The electrical energy may be obtained from nuclear fission process. In which order is the energy transferred in this process? So starting it is nuclear fuel. The process starts with nuclear fuel, which typically involves materials like uranium or plutonium that undergo nuclear fission. Then it is transferred to reactor or boiler, and then it will be transferred to turbines. The high pressure steam produced in the reactor or boiler turns the turbines. It will help the turbines to rotate, and that in turn the turbines, when it is rotated by steam power, and it is given to the generator. The generator will be producing electrical energy. The right choice is D. The diagram shows an electric circuit. When the switch is closed, the lamp is lit. Which row states the type of energy stored in the cell and how the energy is usefully transferred? So inside a battery or inside a cell, chemical energy is being stored. Chemical energy will be there and it will be transferred to the light, this bulb or the lamp as electrical current. So current will start flowing. So the type of energy stored in the cell is chemical energy, and how this energy is usefully transferred to lamp. So it is transferred as current. And when this lamp is glowing only, it will be transferred, will get light. So the right choice here it is A. A scientist uses motor to lift a load through a vertical distance of 2 meters. He then increases the input power to the motor and repeats the experiment. The efficiency of the motor doesn't change. So here the important point is efficiency is not changing. Which row correctly describe the effect that has on the useful work done, lifting the load and time taken to lift? As the efficiency does not change, the work done remains the same. Efficiency is not changing means work done is constant or work done remains the same. And with increased input power, the motor can exert more force to lift the load, which may reduce the time taken. So here time taken will get reduced. So here the right answer is B. Work done remains the same and time taken will be reduced or it decreases. The box has the weight of 15 Newton. The box is resting on a horizontal surface with P in contact with the surface. What is the change in pressure on the surface if the box falls on Q? So we need to find the pressure. P is equal to force by area. So first condition, what is the force? Force here it is 15 Newton and area means it is resting on P, that is 0.2. Area we can find here it is 0.2 and this is 0.3. So 0.2 into 0.3 is the area. 0.2 into 0.3. So once you calculate this, 15 by 0.06, that is 250 you'll get. So the pressure is 250 in first case. Next, you will calculate the pressure for second case. So here, force remains same, 15 by, and the area is different. It is resting on Q. This is 0.5, and here it is 0.2. So 15 by 0.2 into 0.5. So once you calculate this, you'll be getting 15 by 0.1, that is 150. And the difference is 250 minus 150, that is equal to 100. So here the right choice is C, 100 Newton per meter square. Next, a liquid is evaporating. The liquid is not boiling. Which statement about the liquid is correct at the instant of in time? The boiling occurs throughout the entire liquid and evaporation occurs only at the liquid surface. This occurs mainly at the surface of the liquid and boiling occurs throughout the liquid. In the case of evaporation, the molecules will acquire more kinetic energy and will escape from the liquid surface. So here the right choice is only molecules with energy can escape and it is only from liquid surface. C is the right answer. Which row correctly describes the movement of particle in solid and liquid? Solid means it is so closely packed so that the molecules only vibrate. And in the case of liquid, comparing with solid, it is loosely packed and it can move around each other. So the right choice is C, solids vibration only and liquids move around each other. Next, a long thin bar of copper is heated gently and evenly along its length. What happens to the bar? As heat is applied, the temperature of the copper bar increases, causing its atoms to vibrate. So atoms inside this will vibrate more vigorously, which result in the increase in average distance between atoms. So the average distance between the atoms will increase. So it is B. It has become longer. Next, the diagram shows a flask which has been filled with liquid X at room temperature. So liquid X is there at room temperature. When the flask is placed in warm water, the liquid rises up to the tube. When the flask is put in cold water, the liquid drops below the original level in the tube. The experiment is repeated using an identical flask but a different liquid. Why? The initial level of the liquid in the tube is same as the original experiment. But Y expands more per degree increase in temperature than liquid X. So the expansion of Y is more comparing with X. So which one will rise? Which row is correct? Rise most in warm water, falls most in cold water. So here, as Y expands more, the rise of Y in warm water will be higher and the fall of Y in cold water will be higher. And the right answer is D. The diagram shows a pan used for cooking food. This is the handle of the pan. This is the base of the pan. Which row is correct for the materials used in to make the base and handle of the pan? So here we are giving the fire, right? So the base of pan must be a good thermal conductor. And here we will be holding our hand. So this should not get hot. So it should be a poor thermal conductor. So here the right answer is B. Base of pan is good thermal conductor and the handle of pan should be poor thermal conductor. Next, which row gives the correct description of sound wave? Actually, sound wave transmit energy from one point to another without physically moving the matter or particles. The particles or matter will not move physically. So here the right choice is transfers energy without transferring matter. Particle will not move in the case of sound wave. And sound waves are type of longitudinal waves. The diagram shows a wave. Here we can see point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is been marked. Which row correctly indicates the amplitude and the wavelength? So amplitude means from the 0 point to maximum peak, maximum displacement. That is the amplitude. That is the distance between 1 and 2 is amplitude. So two choices are there. And next wavelength means it is from one node to one complete cycle. That is from 4 to 6. It should complete one full cycle. That means either we can take from 0 to 5. That is not an option. Only 4 and 6 is there in option. So from here to here, this time period, this will be one complete wavelength. So here the right choice is B. The distance between 1 and 2 is amplitude. Distance between 4 and 6 is wavelength. A ray of green light passes through a glass prism. Which colors of light refract as shown in table? So here we can see the green light. VIBGYOR. So in this VIBGYOR, the violet will be deviated most. This will be most deviated. And red will be least deviated. So when light is falling, it will get refracted. This will be red and this will be violet. Most deviated will be violet and least deviated will be less red. And remaining all will come in between. So this is the green color. So violet, indigo and blue. This will be most deviated than green and yellow, orange, red will be least deviated than green. So refracted more than green. Here red and violet is there. So violet will be more deviated. That means these two choice. And refracted less than green, blue and yellow is there. So blue is here, that is most deviated. Yellow is here. So yellow will be less deviated. So here the right choice is D, violet and yellow. The diagram shows a ray of light in air incident on a glass block. Some of the light is refracted and some of the light is reflected. Two angles P and Q are marked on the diagram. P is there, Q is there. Which row gives the angle of incidence and state whether total internal reflection occurs. So angle with respect to normal. This is your normal line. So with respect to normal, the incident ray with respect to normal is the angle of incidence. So here the angle of incidence is Q. Q is the angle of incidence. Here total internal reflection has not happened. Why? Total internal reflection occurs means all light will be reflected inside. There will not be any refraction. Here some light is getting refracted and some light is getting reflected. In case of total internal reflection, all the light will be reflected inside. There will not be any refraction. The diagram shows a ray of light in a glass incident on the surface between the glass and air. What happens if the angle of incidence is made larger than critical angle? So whenever the angle of incidence is greater than critical angle, total internal reflection occurs. So when total internal reflection occurs, all the rays will be reflected inside. So here the right answer is here only one ray is incident and that ray will be reflected inside the glass. So D is the right answer. Next, radiation from which part of the electromagnetic spectrum is used for remote controller? For remote controller, we are using IR rays. That is option is infrared waves A. Two rays of light are different colors. Which row is correct? So light that is coming in electromagnetic spectrum. So here the quantities given is speed and wavelength. So here speed of all waves inside the electromagnetic spectrum will be same. So it will remain same, but wavelength will be different. So here the right choice is C. That means frequency will be different and wavelength will be different. What is ultrasound wave? Ultrasound wave, it is too much pitched, high pitch, and it is not audible for humans to hear. It will be in the range of 20 kilohertz to several gigahertz. Several gigahertz range, and it is not audible for human ear. It is used in medical applications. So here the right choice is B. Sound waves that are too high pitched for humans to hear. A bar magnet is brought near to a rod of unknown material. The unknown rod is attracted to both ends of the bar magnet. So this unknown rod, these 2 points it will get attracted. Both ends will be attracted to this bar magnet. Which material is the rod made of? In this choice, aluminum is a non-magnetic material. Same way, plastic is also a non-magnetic material. And magnetized steel. If you are using magnetized steel, these both end will not get attracted. Magnetized steel will be having one end as north and one end as south. So either any one of these poles will get attracted to magnet. But in the case of unmagnetized iron, here the right choice is C, unmagnetized iron. So it is, as it is unmagnetized, either of the ends will get attracted towards this magnet. In which circuit is the ammeter measuring the flow of current through the lamp? So whenever you are connecting ammeter, it should be in series with the circuit. Lamp, whatever it is, it should be connected in series. Then only we can measure current. So here the right choice is B. Here it is in parallel with the cell. We can't measure. Here it is just short here. This is also connected parallel. This is connected in parallel with the lamp. Only in option B, it is connected in series with the lamp. In circuit 1, a negative charge flows in clockwise direction. So negative charge is flowing in clockwise direction. The bulb is bright. In circuit 2, the battery is reversed. The bulb is equally bright. So always this negative charge, the charge will flow, negative charge will be flowing from this negative to positive. In this direction, negative charge will flow. Which charge flow in circuit 2 in which direction? So here negative charge will be flowing, that is in just opposite direction, that is anti-clockwise direction. In this direction it is moving. So the right choice is A, negative anti-clockwise. Next, a diagram shows a circuit containing two resistors, 1 ohm and 2 ohm. A voltmeter is connected across 1 ohm resistor by connecting P to X. So here the voltmeter is connected across this. The reading on the voltmeter is 6 volt. That means the voltage here it is 6 volt. Across 1 ohm resistor it is 6 volt. P is moved to a point Y. Now the P is moved to this point Y. That means what is the new reading on the voltmeter? So here this voltage will be equal to input voltage. This V out, the overall voltage, that is your input voltage. Same as input. So how we can find the input voltage? So we can apply voltage divider rule, that is this is considered as R2, this is considered as R1. So VR2 is voltage across this resistor will be equal to V input into R2 by R1 plus R2. Here we need to find V input. VR2, voltage across 1 ohm, it is 6 volt. V input we need to find into R2. R2 is 1 ohm and R1 plus R2 is 1 plus 2, that is 3 ohm. So cross multiplying 6 into 3, that is 18 volt. So here the right choice is D, 18 volt. Next, the step-down transformer shown reduces main voltage to 12 volt. When the transformer is used, some energy is transferred to the surroundings. Which type of energy is transferred to the surroundings? So, when the transformer is transferring the energy, heat will be produced. That is, thermal energy will be transferred to the surroundings. Which circuit contains a fuse? So option A, this is a cell. This is ammeter. This is a lamp. This is a thermistor. Here one switch is there. Voltmeter is there. This is resistor. So again here switch cell is there. So this is the symbol for fuse. Fuse is there. This is potentiometer or variable resistor. This is actually LDR. So LDR ammeter speaker cell is there. So here the right choice is C. C is having fuse. This is the symbol for fuse. The diagram shows an electric circuit. Which row correctly shows the number of different components in the circuit? So here cell is there. So 1, 2, 3. Total 3 cells are there. Lamp is there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So total 4 lamps are there. Switch 1 switch is there. So here the right choice is cell is 3, lamp is 4 and switch is 1. D is the right choice. Two resistors with resistance R1 and R2 are connected in parallel. Resistance R1 is greater than resistance R2. What is the resistance of parallel combination? So when the two resistors are connected in parallel, the overall resistance will be R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. So whenever we are calculating, it will be always less than R1 or either R1 or either R2. For example, here R1 is greater than R2. So I'm taking here R1 as 4 and R2 as 2. So here R1, R2 means it is 8 by R1 plus R2 is 6. 8 by that is 1.3. So it will be less than either R1 or R2. So right choice is A. The metal cases of electrical appliances are connected to earth wire. Which statement is not correct? Live wire may become loose and touch the metal case. It is right. So we need to connect an earth wire with low resistance. If the metal case become live, the earth wire conducts the current to ground. That's also correct. The earth wire needs to have high resistance. This statement is actually wrong because it needs to have low resistance. Then only it will allow the current to flow to ground. This also earthing metal cases helps prevent the person from receiving electric shock. This is also a right statement. A teacher asked, why do we put a fuse in a main circuit? Student 1 says it protects the wiring from overheating. Student 2 says it protects us from getting a shock if we touch the live wire. So we are putting the fuse in main circuit for protecting the wire from overheating or the equipments from overheating. So the right answer is C. Student 1 is right. We'll be putting the fuse in series with the components or whatever equipments it is. For protecting that particular equipment, we are connecting the fuse. It will not protect us from getting shock if we touch the live wire. Which graph represents an AC or alternating current? So AC must have both positive and negative half cycle. It will be flowing in both direction, both positive and negative direction. So if you are analyzing these waves, this is actually DC. This is having only positive half. This is having only negative half. So the right answer here it is A. It is having both positive and negative half cycle. The current in a small electric heater is 4 amps. The cable connected to the heater is able to carry current up to 10 amps. Fuse rated 1 amps, 3 amps, 5 amps and 13 amps are available. Which fuse should be used? Here, two ratings are there. We need to protect the heater, that is of rating 4 amps. And the cable connected to the heater is able to carry current up to 10 amps. The maximum capacity of the cable is 10 amps. So we need to find the fuse, that is it should be between these 4 amps and 10 amps. More than 10 amps means the wire will burn. It cannot protect wire and both the equipment and wire will be gone. So less than 4 amps means your equipment will not work. If you are selecting 1 amps or 3 amps fuse, when you are connecting in series with the electric heater, it will not work. If you are choosing these two, your heater will not work. Heater will be always in off position. So you need to keep the fuse within 4 and 10, preferably 4.1, 4.2. Here the choice it is 5 amps. So here the right answer is 5 amps. Next, a very important experiment improved scientists understanding the structure of matter. The experiment involved alpha particles being fired at a thin gold foil. What happened? This is actually Rutherford's gold foil experiment. And in this observation was that while most of the alpha particles pass through the foil, some of them were deflected at large angles. Some of them were deflected. So here, all alpha particles that were not absorbed by the nucleus, all the alpha particles were unaffected by the gold atoms. These are wrong. Some of the alpha particles were repelled by protons in the nuclei of gold atoms. Some were attracted by the neutrons in the nuclei of gold atoms. So some were deflected, right? So some were repelled by the protons. So here D is the right choice. Some sources of background radiation are natural and others are due to human activity. Which source is natural? Medical rays, it is due to human activity. Nuclear weapon, that is due to human activity. Radioactive waste from power stations, these are also due to human activities. The right choice is so D, radon gas from rocks, that is natural. A radioactive material is placed near a detector. The detector shows count rate of 28,000. When a card is put, the reading is 25,000. That means it is being reduced. When aluminum is put, after that, it remains the same, 25,000 only. Lead is put means it is again reduced to 19,000. What is being emitted by the radioactive material? So here we know three types of radiation, alpha, beta and gamma. This alpha can be stopped by material like paper. Alpha radiations can be stopped by material like paper, and beta can be stopped by aluminum, and alpha can be stopped by dense materials, like lead. So here, when we are putting card, that means paper, it is being reduced. When we are putting aluminum, it is not being reduced. So beta particle is not there. And when we are putting lead, it is again be reduced. So it contains only alpha and gamma. Beta is not there. So here the right choice is C, alpha and gamma radiation. A radioactive isotope has a half-life of 3 years. So the half-life is 3 years. A sample count rate of 100 counts per minute on the detector. So the initial amount that is given as 100. Which calculation is used to predict the count after 12 years? So the time is t is given as 12 years. After 12 years, what is the count? So after 12 years, what is the count? We can find by nt equal to n0 by 2 raised to t by t. Here n0 is 100 into 1 by 2 raised to small t is 12, capital is 3. So we can write it as 100 into 1 by 12 by 3, that is 4. So again it can be expanded like 100 into 1 by 2 into 1 by 2, 4 times 1 by 2 into 1 by 2. So here the right choice is A. Thank you all. Thank you for watching the video. Please subscribe the channel. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.